Well, it's edition 86 of TOOP TV, and well, I've been away for 6 months and let the hair grow, and I've got to be honest, I haven't worn a tie for 6 months and I'm gagging a little bit on it, but it's time to get a haircut and it's time to get serious. So let's go and let's turn into Mr. Businessman and let's get back to work. We have a beautiful property in Melbourne. We're featuring on one of SA's finest. You will not be disappointed. And also today, we make your home stand out when there are so many properties on the market.
Now remember, we're live and we're interactive, and we're talking about action stations here, so ring in and get those questions and queries going, and we'll answer them at the end of the show.
Well, I don't know where they cut that hair from because it all seems to still be there. You can't believe it. He wouldn't actually cut it. That's a whole nother story. So we're back, 6 months out of action, and really interesting to see what's happened with the market, and to be out of the forest, looking back in, has been fascinating. So we'll go through some details shortly. Now today, Craig James from ComSec will be speaking about the market, where it's heading, and of course, the inside story today is on building on a small block of land.
The Australian dream of buying a home on a big block of land is being phased out, as first home buyers are now being offered blocks a quarter of the size of what their parents bought. Over the years, the average block size has continually shrunk, and it's predicted in 2012 most people will be living on land which is between 200 square metres and 350 square metres. South Australia is one of the states leading the way for the downsizing trend, as developers look to meet a market with more affordable housing options. This is good news for those looking to buy their own home, as house and land packages could sell for around $320,000. However, this marks a change in livability as the era of McMansions comes to a close and having a backyard becomes a thing of the past.
I think our lifestyle's different. We don't want to be maintaining gardens and things, so we just like to get a lot of people purchasing smaller blocks.
So the majority of the people that want a house and they want to build a house affordable, I think they're probably going for smaller houses.
This also means the properties of the future will be rear-loaded, where the garage is built at the back, and these no-fuss homes will provide an alternative to high-rise living. And it appears this movement could take over the nation. Terrace block sizes are becoming more popular in Western Australia and Victoria, while Queensland plans on introducing a range of affordable housing and smaller block sizes into its communities.
Well, today in the studio we've got Mandy Worth, the General Manager, who's pretty much looked after everything for me while I've been away. Tim Threadgold, I know you all know Tim. He's been hosting here on many of the TOOP TV shows because he's trying to hijack my job, and he's nearly done it. And of course, Kerry Ackermans, who's the person that's gone into our property management division, made lots of changes, right up to speed what's happening with the rental market. So let's find out together what's been happening for the first half of this year. Now, guys, let's start with you, Kerry, since you look the brightest in the red. Kerry, firstly, thanks for hosting last week. I watched the show, I loved it.
Yeah, Sally's great, lovely lady.
She's great. We were talking about buying houses in other countries, in other states. Should be talking about it here. But look, what's happening with rentals? Heard a lot about sales, but rentals?
Well, with rentals, there's lots of excellent properties coming on the market. Got new investors coming in because now is the time to buy, and having existing investors adding to their portfolio, but the good properties go quick. So, and if you want to looking for a property, you need to register as a renter so that we can get SMS out to you and let you know. Now
it's the middle of winter, normally it's really quiet. Is that not the case?
Yeah, had less people to opens now than we had before, so people are now after those better properties, so there's more competition.
And are the rents up, same or down on what they would have been in January?
Down on what they would have been. Yeah.
So what does that mean for you would have thought for an investor that they're not happy with that?
They're not, but because they're not buying as much going in, then this is that time when they'll put rental increases into the contract to say that they can do a rental increase, and you're seeing more periodic or shorter term leases rather than the longer fixed term, so they can review.
Is that unfair for the tenant? Because the tenant goes in, thinks they've got a cheap house, and then what?
It's all in the contract, so they're aware of that when they first sign up.
Okay, but they might be aware of it, but do you think that's fair?
I guess if you get that advantage for any period of time, it's fair, and as long as they know that then the rental increases can only happen, they can't happen any more than a 6-month period, so they're set for that period of time. And sometimes for them it suits. They're also finding is that people are actually selling their homes and going out to rent themselves. So
Okay.
it could only be a short-term thing for them. So that's more what they're looking for.
Well, let's have a look at what's happening with the Tim, of the auction market, and then Mandy, we can cover off on generally what's happening with the property market. Tim, auctions.
Auctions have, to say the least, been interesting.
What do you mean by interesting?
Well, you get a broad spectrum of experience when you're doing auctions. Some are fantastic. You can see when a property's been well priced and hits the market. There's lots of activity. Only last week had an auction with 16 registered bidders. But then the other side of the equation is that you can often have auctions where no one registers. So we're getting all of that, and it's either all or nothing. So people register, they bid, they get involved, they buy, or nothing happens. And that's probably the disappointing part for owners, but they have to understand that that is how the auctions are working nowadays.
Now, we wrote an article last week, or I wrote an article last week talking about the market, and that's based on information I got back from you guys and also from all of the papers, the stats and everything. What is happening in your view with the market? Up, down?
I reckon that the market is probably down by anything up, in particular areas, anything up to between 15 and 20%, and across different price ranges as well. It seems to me that the top end of the market is still pretty strong. The sub-million market is quietish, and just over $1 million is seemingly flooded at the moment.
Okay. Now, Mandy, we'll come back to you in a minute, but in the meantime, let's go to a brand new segment. It's called Going, Going, Gone, and it's all about sold properties because there have been plenty of sales happening, and you'll see that now.
While many potential sellers have been scared off by all of the doom and gloom surrounding the market, rest assured properties are still selling. It's been a busy week here at TOOP+TOOP where a number of homes have sold, including 3 last Wednesday. Phil Warhurst had a very successful auction in Prospect where this renovator's delight went under the hammer for $416,000. Deanna Sladek sold this gorgeous Villa Masonette in Exeter, while Jackie Opie was on a roll selling properties in Seacombe Heights and Warradale. Along the Flurio, Rob Heaslip put away a sale in Victor Harbour for $372,500. And TOOP TV viewers might remember looking through this renovated villa in Unley Park, which was sold by Kay Morris at auction on Saturday.
Well, those sales results, pretty amazing, particularly that one on Northgate Street. Tim, you did the auction?
It was nice.
Come on, more than nice.
It's always lovely to say, going, going, gone.
An international, very high profile client who we can't mention the name. Damn.
That round ball football game. Yeah.
Now, Mandy, tell me about what's happening overall with the market from your perspective. You've got a lot of contacts interstate, Australia, then local.
Whatever it is across the country. It's just not a state by state where the market is, it's across the country. So even globally, and I think we were talking about that earlier today, getting into the state, I don't think Adelaide's probably seen a market like this for many years. We've gone from a boom market to a great market to a very downturn marketplace. And I'm agreeing with Tim, anywhere it's between 15 and 20% down in the marketplace. But you know, you're buying and selling in the same market, you know, it shouldn't affect you that much. You've just got to be smart about it. And the best thing for anybody is sell first, get your price right, and the property's sold. We're not waiting around to put you through too much pain.
And then if they buy after they've sold?
You know, as long as they're buying within a reasonable time. You know, lots of people are selling and maybe getting into rental market for 6 months or so. I can't see that the market's going to go anywhere up for a number of years. So quite possibly, in a few more months' time, they're going to have the prices have gone down again. You know, it's a day-by-day process right now.
Now, this is live and interactive, but you're on record now.
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Kerry, just if the prices are down, the investors are recognising that, buying properties at a better price than they perhaps were, and therefore, is that why the rents can come off a little bit?
That's right, exactly.
So, does that mean that the tenants win?
The tenants are winning this time, yes.
So you've got pain from the people who have purchased. That's across the whole world. This has been happening.
That's right.
We talked about that. It's now hit Australia, and South Australia's got caught up in it. So if you're an investor, get out there and get
into it. That's why I think we'll see a lot more of the first-time investors who think this is the time I have the courage and confidence to go out and buy something.
Tim, auction purchase versus private treaty very quickly. If you're a buyer, what would you go to?
Absolutely no question about being at an auction and the transparency of being able to see what's going on with your competitors. As soon as you're out of that environment, you've got to deal with, you don't know what you're dealing with. So you're assuming that what you're being told by the agent is correct, and if you're not dealing with someone who you've got any trust in, you're in a bad place.
Thanks, guys, and that's a great segue to behind the blinds, because that's what it's like negotiating when it's not at auction. Let's go and have a look at behind the blinds.